Thanks for stopping by, guys, and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Today we're going to be looking at another concept. This time we're going to be looking at the DFAM cannon concept, which is this one here, which we're going to be comparing to the DFST, which a lot of people are already aware of. Now then, the DFAM was designed to fix a few different goals, or a few different problems I had with the DFST. One of which is this part here. When you fire the DFST, this part here is always there, and as a result, it extends with the piston and has to retract, which means it needs somewhere to go. It needs room to move, and you'll see in my tanks, such as the Naga here, there is a gap in the armor for that piece to move. So that was one problem I had. Another is with the new pistons. Different pistons have different strengths, which means they have different resistances to spud guns. So with the reloading mechanisms, I need to get the Naga working here. I need the faster level 5 pistons. But level 5 pistons also have the most resistance, meaning that this cannon here has something like 39 rather than 30 or so spud guns that there would have normally been. And that's kind of the two main things. There is a bonus that I noticed when working with the DFAM, but those are the two main things I was trying to combat. One was needing to have a gap in the armor for this piece to move, and the other was trying to make it so that I didn't need to have a level 5 piston. And that's where the DFAM came in. This, for the most part, works almost identically to the DFST. The major difference being the piece that is attached to the piston is also destructible, and it gets destroyed during the firing process. So here, both of these cannons fire at the same time. This one is offset back so that it strikes slightly after the game detects the first strike. This is a safety precaution. It's not really necessary to have this secondary spud gun, but in low frame rate scenarios, it prevents the gun from shooting the canister back at yourself. So that's why that's there. But in this one, that extra spud gun is actually an integral part. It is delayed by a single tick from when these fire. So these fire off that logic. 1 tick delay. This one fires and destroys the block or the part that is connected to the piston. This actually is meant to do, well, two things. One, destroy that piece that needs to be moving, so there's no moving parts. And whenever you destroy the block that is on a piston, the piston instantly resets to its home position without the need of a logic block, like this one has here. So, what you get is I'm going to fire the DFST first. No, I had those connected wrong. Oops. Let me reload that. Okay, so what you get is instead of having that bar that needs to move, you get an entirely solid cannon with no moving parts. Now the game thinks the parts are moving, but in reality I've never had an issue with collisions, so essentially there are no moving parts. And as you can see, the reloading process, rather than reloading this and then bomb, you do 1, 2 and then bomb. And that's part of the reason why you want to have a block under there. Technically, if you really wanted to, you could do something like that, and this would still work normally, but this is much faster, and I'll demonstrate in the Mark 59 that I have sitting over here. When you're getting to these up here, these pistons up front, you can't exactly get to the front of these easily. So having that block there means that you can just place. As you can see, this is a 4-round DF cannon with no moving parts. And there's no gaps in the armor for those pistons to move because they kind of don't really move. Now then, why have I not adopted this? And I also want to mention a little secret addition that wasn't intended, but apparently is a thing that these cannons are capable of. First thing, why haven't I adopted them? Well, I was actually planning to with this tank, the Mark 59. But as you may know, the Mark 60 went back to the older style of cannon. And that's simply because these cannons aren't completely reliable. There's a few bugs I haven't figured out yet and haven't fixed yet. Sometimes the cannons just refuse to shoot. Usually it's that first round just doesn't fire, and I haven't been able to figure out why. And when it's a fire on the move situation, that failure to fire can and usually is catastrophic. So until I've been able to fix that, I've been working with the more reliable and the more understood DFST, rather than transitioning over to these. However, after testing with someone who is having issues with the DFST, I realized that these cannons are what we would call a lagless cannon or a 0 frame rate cannon, meaning I can run into the Naga here, and mind you, that first round may not fire because, like I've stated before, issues. It still fires. And not only that, but it maintains its down-firing status while also being a 0 frame rate cannon. And that's a lot of the reason I want to make this video today, is to look at that and acknowledge it, because I know a lot of people in my community don't have the beefiest computers, and once they start getting into this level of tank, frame rates are not friendly. So now that we do have a cannon that can not only fire at low frame rates but is also DF capable, I wanted to kind of show off the concept. So once again, just looking at it, it's the normal cluster of spud guns, and the secondary spud gun that would normally fire at the same time is now being fired off by one tick using a logic block. And rather than having a single block attached to a piston, which is attached to a logic block, you simply just have a piston. In this case, a level 1 piston, because it offers the least amount of resistance and is therefore the most efficient, meaning we need less spud guns in the cannon. Something like that. And load. So this technically isn't a tutorial video, but hopefully you guys can kind of piece together what's going on here. Once I get testing done and get these cannons fully operational and fully reliable, I might do a proper tutorial in the near future, but not quite yet. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. Enjoy the channel, enjoy what I'm doing, please subscribe, it helps out a lot. And right now, shares help the channel the most. So if you do want to help the channel, please share this episode with a friend. I do want to also thank Captain Bob and Black Kitten for being members over on my channel and supporting me in that way. So I'm going to do one more firing just to demo the low frame rate capabilities I was referring to. So without any further ado, thanks for stopping by, thanks for sticking around, and until next time, let me get one DF in. Peace.